But first, our Foreign Affairs Correspondent Jonathan Miller reports now on the latest exchanges, which have so far led to the deaths of at least 650 Palestinians. And please, do be warned, his report does contain very distressing images.
Gaza lies 100 miles as the crow flies from Israel's Tel Megiddo, better known to most of us as Armageddon. But to those under fire in this oppressed, oppressive enclave, this relentless onslaught and the fight back feel to many here as though the last battle has begun. The Palestinian militants' rockets continue to blast off into Israel as Israeli drones and tanks and gunboats, attack helicopters and F-16s continue to visit death and destruction here. 2 F-16 missiles hit this apartment building a stone's throw from our hotel at 10:32 p.m. last night. Families in flats upstairs, most refugees from the bombardment of Shajaya further east, were warned by phone and all got out. A mini-mart and other shops downstairs had storerooms at the back.
Is it possible that maybe Hamas was storing rockets in the back? Is it possible that maybe Hamas was firing rockets from across the road in that empty space?
No, ever, never. You know why?
How do you know?
How it's possible to come military person to store here rockets? No way. And also, when the attack finished, we come and we know that's not anything of military material here. If that was, I will tell you.
By lunchtime, 21 were dead, 56 by 4:30. Total deaths now creeping inexorably towards 700, most civilians, 4,300 wounded. 32 Israeli soldiers are now dead, 2 civilians there. In central Gaza City, we passed Al-Aqsa Mosque. Well, it was Al-Aqsa Mosque until it too was visited by the Israeli Air Force, which targets mosques suspected of storing weapons. And that's exactly what happened here. When I put that to local residents, though, they laughed. This was a 7-story block, 22 flats, 160 people. One had a phone call saying, "You've got 3 minutes to get everybody out." They ran, and all they've got left now is what they're wearing.
We've heard so many airstrikes today, all around us, all the time. A drone hit a house as we were driving down an adjacent street about an hour ago. It was very loud and very frightening. The Palestinians in Gaza live with that fear all the time. A Palestinian friend of mine called Adim is staying with her 2 tiny children and her parents in a house just south of Gaza City. It's about half a mile from the Israeli border. And for days now, they've been pinned down under incessant shell fire. They're carrying in a corridor and running out of food and water. We've been in constant touch, but I'm going to call her now. Adim, it's Jonathan.
Last night, Jonathan, it was the worst and the longest in my life. The shelling started at like midnight and it kept going on till maybe 9 a.m. It was really, really heavy shelling, like non-stop, continuous. And you know what's really like every night I sleep and I say, oh my God, maybe this is the last time I see the faces of my babies, or maybe this is the last minute I hug him. You want to survive, but you know that maybe the next minute you are gone. I really wonder, the Israeli soldier who's behind the tank and who shells Gaza every second. I really wonder, doesn't he have kids? Doesn't he have normal life, family? Like doesn't he think about us as if we are equals to him? We are exactly equal to him. We need a ceasefire.
Adim sent me these pictures of shards of tank shell shrapnel that landed on their house, which is now surrounded by Israeli tanks and snipers. I don't know how we're still alive, she said. Not far away from her, people were fleeing the sprawling refugee camp of Khan Yunis after deadly drone strikes and shelling there.
They destroyed the house that collapsed on my brother, his wife and their kids, all of them. And this happens every night. They hit the entire neighborhood and we don't know how we can live like this. This is a miserable life. This is not life.
At the hospital, mutilated bodies fill the morgue.
Israeli soldiers have been on the road since last night. The ambulances and the Red Cross couldn't get the injured. The army moved back, and these young men needed someone to get them. But whoever goes to help them gets shot.
2 days back, we broadcast this distressing footage filmed by Palestinian rights activists. A man who's looking for injured members of his family in Shajaya is shot at, apparently by an Israeli sniper. As he lies there, he takes a second direct hit. At this point, we freeze frame. The third shot kills the man.
He took another shot.
Other rescue workers are unable to even reach him. The dead man's name was Salem Shamali. We tracked down his cousin, who said that he and Salem's parents and sisters found out about his death on social media when the video went viral.
They called the ambulances, and ambulances reached the area. And after that, the Israeli fired the ambulance also.
And where is Salem's body now? Is it still there?
Still there in the same place for 3 days almost.
Why can they not get him?
Because the Israeli announced that it's a restricted area and no one can access to this area.
As the UN human rights chief said that Israel's failure to protect civilians could amount to war crimes, clashes have broken out in the Israeli-occupied territories on the West Bank. It feels like a spark has now been lit which may not easily be extinguished. Israel's intent to crush Palestinian resistance, met by determination not to be subdued.